Penguin Random House Audio presents 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl. Fiction by Mona Awad. Read for you by Jorjeana Marie.
For Rex. There was always that shadowy twin. Thin when I was fat, fat when I was thin. Myself in silvery negative, with dark teeth and shining white pupils glowing in the black sunlight of that other world. Margaret Atwood. When we went against the universe. We went against the universe at the McDonald's on the corner of Wolfdale and Mavis. On a sunny afternoon. Mel and I hate sunny afternoons, especially here in Misery Saga, which is what you're allowed to call Mississauga if you live there. In Misery Saga, there is nothing to do with sunny afternoons but all the things we have already done 1,000 times. We've lain on our backs in the grass, listening to the same Discman, one earphone each, watching the same clouds pass. We've walked in the woodlot pretending to pretend that it is Wonderland, even though, when you stand in the heart of it, you can still hear cars going by. We've eaten dry cupcakes at that dessert place down the road where all the other kids go. We don't like other kids, but we go anyway, just for the bustle. We've sat behind the bleachers sharing blizzards from Dairy Queen, the wind making our Catholic school kilts flap against our stubbly knees. Our favorite was the one with the pulverized brownies and nuts and chocolate sauce, but they don't make it anymore for some reason. So we're at the McDonald's on the corner eating McFlurries, which everyone knows aren't as good as blizzards, even when you tell them to mix more things in. We're bored out of our minds as usual, having exhausted every topic of conversation. There is only so much Mel and I can say about the girls we hate, or the bands and books and boys we love on a scale of 1 to 10. There is only so much we can play of the human race game, which is when we eliminate the whole human race and only put back in the people we can stand, and only if we both agree. There's only so much we can talk about how we'd give it up, and what we'd be wearing, and with which boy, and what he'd be wearing, and what album might be playing in the background. We've established, for the second time today, that for Mel it would be a red velvet dress, the drummer from London After Midnight, Renaissance wear, and Violator. For me, a purple velvet dress, Vince Merino, a vintage suit, and Let Love In. But it changes. So we decide to do the Fate Papers. The Fate Papers is Mel's name for when you tear off 2 small bits of paper and write no on one piece and yes on the other. You shake the 2 balled-up pieces in your hands while you close your eyes and ask the universe your question. You can ask aloud or in your mind. Mel and I both prefer in your mind, but sometimes, if it is an urgent matter like now, we ask aloud. The first paper that drops is the answer. Now we are asking if Mel should call Eric to see if he likes the CD she made him of her favorite Lee Hazelwood songs. The Fate Papers already said no, but we're doing 2 out of 3 because that can't be right even though the Fate Papers are never wrong. Next, we are going to ask if I should try talking to Vince Merino again after yesterday's fiasco attempt. The Fate Papers say no to Mel again, then no to me. The universe is against us, which makes sense. So we get another McFlurry and talk about how fat we are for a while. But it doesn't matter how long we talk about it, or how many times Mel assures me she's a fucking whale beneath her clothes. I know I'm fatter. Not by a little, either. Mel has an ass, I'll give her that, but that's all I'll give her. If I win the fat argument, then Mel will say, so what? I'm way prettier than she is, but I think face-wise we're about the same. I haven't really grown into my nose yet, or discovered the arts of starving myself and tweezing, so I'll be honest with you. In this story, I don't look that good. Except for maybe my skin, which Mel claims she would kill for. Also my tits. Mel says they're huge, and she assures me it's a good thing. Maybe even too much of a good thing, she says. It's Mel who got me using the word tits. I have trouble calling them anything even in my thoughts. They embarrass me, and all the words for them embarrass me, but I'm trying, for Mel's sake, to name my assets. Even with my skin and tits, though, it's still Mel who looks better. She's got psoriasis and a mustache she has to bleach, and still. It's definitely Mel who has any hope in hell with any of the boys we like. Which I guess is why she claims the men at the next table were looking at her first. I hadn't even noticed them. I was busy eating my Oreo McFlurry, hunting for the larger pieces of Oreo that sometimes get trapped at the bottom, which I hate. It's Mel who points the men out, saying 3 o'clock to me without moving her lips or making much noise. I turn and see 3 businessmen sitting in the booth next to us, eating Big Macs. I assume they are businessmen, because they are wearing business suits, but they could just as easily be suit salesmen. Or bank tellers. At any rate, they are men, their hands full of veins and hairs, each pair of hands gripping a bit into Big Mac. Mel says they are totally checking her out. I look at them again, and none of them seem to be looking at us. They don't even seem to be looking at each other. They're looking at their burgers, or into space. No, Mel says. They were looking at her tits. Mel is exceedingly proud of her tits. What she loves most is the mole on the top of her left breast. She wears wonder bras and low-cut tops to show it off. I want a boob guy, she always tells me. I wouldn't want a butt guy, because I hate my butt. Yeah, I say in sympathy. I hate it, she clarifies. But boys love it. They always give me compliments. Still, I wouldn't want a butt guy. He'd always want to do it from behind. Yeah, I say in sympathy again. We both agree we'd never want a leg guy. The reason the men are looking, according to Mel, is because she's been giving off sex vibes all day. I never know what she means by this. My best guess is something between an animal scent and a cosmic force. Mel always says it has to do with the universe. What happens is the universe feels her sex vibes and transmits them to like-minded men and women. She says these particular men can feel her sex vibes. That's why they're looking. She's giving off enough of them for both of us, which is why they're looking at me, too. They're totally checking us both out, she says. They checked her out first, of course, but now they're checking us both out. I say, really? And she says, totally. Doesn't that make you horny? I hate the word horny. It makes me think of sweat and snorting and wiry hairs. I guess, I say, though it really, really doesn't. The men aren't really attractive. I mean, they're fine, I guess, but they have these little blinky businessmen eyes, and one of them even has gray hair. They look like they are around my father's age. I hardly see my father since he left, but I know he has a lot of girlfriends. Mainly women he works with at the hotel where he's a manager. I find traces of them on my infrequent visits to his apartment. Feathery, complicated lingerie between his balled-up black socks, a box of tampons under the sink. And then, in with his cologne bottles shaped like male torsos, I'll find a perfume that smells sickly sweet. One time, one of them left a message on the machine saying she missed his body oh so much. I can't even imagine missing my father's body, and not just because he is my father. No, none of this is making me especially horny, but I say it sort of is because I know if I don't play along, Mel will be angry and a pain to hang out with. Wouldn't it be fun, she says, if we went up to them and propositioned them? To do what? I say. To, I don't know, she sighs. Let us suck them off. For money. I'd say we're each worth at least $50, maybe even 100. Mel's a bit of a slut, but you can't ever call her that. She hates the word slut and gets pissed off if anybody around her uses it. She got super pissed at our friend Catherine once, this girl at our school who wants to be a nun. Because Catherine says slut about people she doesn't.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?